I will still be considered morbidly obese on the BMI, and little bros on the internet are still gonna call me big backed, but I will be happy.
I starved myself for nearly 5 months, and after losing 67 pounds on a liquid diet,
that she did use a weight loss drug at one point for her health, when she almost weighed 300 pounds.
Beauty in Hollywood is like a weapon. Whoever wields it holds power. But what happens when that standard shifts, when the body is no longer slim, when the pounds pile on beyond control? Hollywood is brutal. They celebrate beauty, but they're quick to turn their backs when that beauty fades. There were actresses who once set the standard, who left the world in awe. But then they gained weight, and in the blink of an eye, they went from icons to topics of gossip, mockery, and criticism. The stories of the 15 black actresses I'm about to share are proof. They once drove the public wild, but now they've changed beyond recognition. 15. Gabourey Sidibe, up 10 pounds from binge eating, body balloons, to 330 pounds. Gabourey Sidibe once stunned Hollywood with her breathtaking performance in Precious. But behind the glamour, she faced a fierce battle: depression, binge eating, and runaway weight gain. From 220 pounds, she shot up to 330 pounds, plunging into a despair she'd never known. Her body swelled to the point of alienation and ridicule. But this tragedy didn't happen overnight. It was the result of a decade of self-destruction. Since her teenage years, Gabourey lived in the shadow of compulsive overeating. Whenever she felt lonely or stressed, she turned to food as the only way to fill the void. She didn't eat because she was hungry. She ate because the emotional pain was too much. A typical meal might include a large pizza, 2 orders of fried chicken, 3 servings of fries, and 2 milkshakes overflowing with whipped cream. The hunger never stopped. It all vanished in minutes, but then a wave of dread hit. Guilt, regret, yet she couldn't quit. Her weight climbed uncontrollably. When it hit 330 pounds, she knew she'd reached rock bottom. Hollywood doesn't forgive people like her. At a 2013 red carpet event, she felt the judging stares, heard the whispers behind her back. Then came the most humiliating moment. As she tried to sit, the chair wobbled. A sharp crack rang out. Though it didn't break, the moment was caught on camera and spread like wildfire online. Cruel comments flooded in. The mockery grew harsher, but the nightmare wasn't over. On set, her 330-pound frame became a literal burden. One day, climbing stairs to the studio, her knees felt like they'd shatter. Her heart raced, breaths came short, sweat poured uncontrollably. She stopped halfway, gripping the railing, taking heavy steps like an old woman. A crew member rushed to help, eyes full of worry. But to Gabourey, it wasn't concern. It was pity. In the mirror, she didn't recognize herself. Was this the ambitious girl she'd been, or just a prisoner trapped by her own body? That's when she realized, change, or lose everything. She started regaining control, shedding weight bit by bit. Though she'll never be as thin as some actresses, she's far more mobile now than during her darkest crisis. 14. Monique, Burger Obsession Balloons. Her by 100 pounds. Monique was once an icon of humor and personality in entertainment. She shone on stage with high-energy performances, winning over audiences with her confidence and rare charm. But Hollywood's spotlight couldn't hide her personal tragedy. When her career hit rough patches, Monique spiraled into an inescapable cycle. She turned to food to drown her disappointment, and no one could have guessed that greasy burgers would push her from 200 pounds to a staggering 300 pounds. It all started at a dingy little diner tucked away near the set. Not a fancy spot with healthy options, just a rundown joint where the frying oil was black from endless reuse, where burgers swam in thick mayo and crispy charred bacon. Monique never thought she'd get hooked, but when a producer delayed her paycheck, she had no choice. Too broke for upscale dining, she stepped into that dive. It began with 1 burger, then 2, then 3. The staff didn't even need her order anymore. They knew it by heart. Extra cheese, extra sauce, and double the meat. At first, Monique didn't notice the change. She was still herself, or so she thought. But things got worse. Her favorite dress suddenly felt tight. She stepped on the scale and watched the numbers climb week by week. Her knees ached with every move. Sitting became a struggle. She could barely stand back up under her own weight. But worst of all were the looks from others. At an audition, as she walked in, the producer made up his mind in 3 seconds flat. No explanation, no chance. Just a cold nod and a curt, "Thanks for coming." Hollywood had turned its back. Monique knew no one in the industry would accept a 300-pound actress, no matter how immense her talent. But the addiction wouldn't let go. She'd swear to cut back each morning, but by afternoon, the cravings hit like a storm. That day, she quietly drove back to the old diner, ordering the usual. She ate in her car, sauce dripping down her hands, grease smearing her lips. She knew she was destroying herself but couldn't stop. After the 4th burger, she caught her reflection in the rearview mirror. Tired eyes, a puffy face, greasy hands. She barely recognized herself. She'd let a dive diner run her life, and in that moment, she knew she'd hit her breaking point. 13. Oprah Winfrey, 107-pound tragedy and dark days. On TV, Oprah Winfrey is one of the most powerful women in media. From a childhood of hardship, she rose to become a top host, turning the Oprah Winfrey Show into a TV empire. But behind the stage lights, her life wasn't as glamorous as people thought. When work pressure piled up, when millions hung on her every word, her body became the victim. In the 90s, Oprah's schedule had no room for rest. Every day she prepped for broadcasts, interviewed guests, tackled endless behind-the-scenes chaos. No time for healthy meals, she leaned on fast food to keep going. It started with a burger between meetings, then 2, then 3. On the toughest days, she'd plow through 3 fried chicken meals, a jumbo fries, 2 pastries, and a giant soda in one sitting. She didn't eat from hunger, she ate from stress. Loneliness, exhaustion, media criticism, it all melted away with each bite. But only for a moment. When the plate was empty, regret crashed in. Realizing her body was getting heavier, Oprah vowed to lose weight. But no matter how hard she tried, the scale wouldn't budge. She was wiped out after minutes of exercise, knees throbbing, breaths ragged. No one knew her thyroid issues made weight loss an unfair fight. While Oprah struggled, the outside world showed no mercy. Every TV appearance sparked whispers. Tabloids zoomed in on her curves, comparing her to her old self. But the worst was yet to come. In 1994, a popular comedy show aired a skit mocking Oprah. An actress over 300 pounds, dressed in a similar outfit, wheezed and chowed down on a massive cake to audience laughter. They laughed. Oprah didn't. She stared at the screen, watching herself turned into a joke. A woman who'd fought her way out of poverty, built an empire, reduced to a punchline over her weight. She'd hit bottom. She'd let work and her body betray her too long. There was only one way forward. She had to take back control. From then on, she transformed herself, mastered her diet, and made a stunning return to her former shape. 12. Raven-Symon. Disney star falls into a 187-pound nightmare. Raven-Symon was once one of Disney Channel's brightest stars. She was the heart of That's So Raven, one of Disney's most successful sitcoms ever. Beyond acting, she sang, becoming a role model for teens. But that shine was also an invisible chain, locking her into the entertainment industry's harsh mold. She had to stay cheerful, energetic, and above all, perfectly shaped. A cookie, a candy, everything was policed. She lived under that strain for years, until it all came crashing down. In 2007, Raven left Disney Channel, leaving behind the spotlight and forced smiles. But instead of freedom, she fell into a new abyss. Without a packed schedule or image pressure, she felt lost. She didn't know what to do with herself. In that isolation, she turned to the one thing that filled the gap: food. At first, it seemed harmless, a milkshake at night, fries while watching TV. But soon, one cookie wasn't enough. She ate the box. One meal didn't stop at one serving, she ordered 3. Meals turned into uncontrollable binges. Her weight skyrocketed. Then one day, the scale hit 187 pounds. Raven stood there, staring at the number, unable to believe she'd gone so far. She thought she just needed a break, but Hollywood wouldn't give her that chance. When she hit the red carpet rounder than before, photos spread like wildfire. She wasn't the Raven they'd loved anymore. Vicious comments flooded social media. She was mocked, laughed at. A name once celebrated was now a joke. She'd eaten to escape, but now there was no hiding. 11th. Queen Latifah, 220 pounds of pressure and a media storm. Queen Latifah is an icon, a rapper, an actress, a true Hollywood queen. From fierce rhymes to unforgettable roles, she didn't just win fans, she claimed her place as a black woman in a cutthroat industry. But behind the glory was a relentless life. Jam-packed schedules, sleepless nights, rushed meals on set, it all dragged her into an inescapable spiral. When she saw her weight hit 220 pounds, Queen Latifah knew she'd lost control. In 2008, she stared at the scale. It wasn't just a number anymore, it was a warning. From a strong woman, she'd become her own victim. But how could she avoid it when every day was a race? Sets, studios, press junkets, red carpets. Her life was booked to the minute. No time to cook, no energy to work out. Breakfast was a sandwich scarfed down in the car. Lunch was fries and fried chicken between takes. Dinner was cold pizza at 2 a.m. She'd lost command of her body, and Hollywood doesn't wait. Then one day, paparazzi snapped her leaving a restaurant. A tight dress showed every roll, her face weary, eyes bleary. Overnight, it was everywhere. Queen Latifah, royalty or burden? A cruel headline stabbed at her pride. Trolls jeered, talk shows made her a gag. Memes popped up, making her the target of scorn. No one cared she'd worked herself to the bone. No one asked why. They just saw the weight and assumed she'd let herself go. She stayed quiet. But each vicious comment drove her back to food for comfort. A loaf of cake, a big milkshake, a jumbo fried chicken meal. Eating didn't erase the hurt. It sank her deeper into self-destruction. Until one day, she took the stage. After one song, her breath faltered, her knees screamed, her throat burned. The crowd clapped, but she knew she wasn't herself anymore. She'd let work devour her life. She had to stop now, or lose everything. 10. Jill Scott, 200 pounds of post-divorce pain. Jill Scott isn't just a singer with a powerhouse voice. She's a gifted actress, a soul and R&B icon. Her hits shook the world, racking up awards. But when the stage lights dimmed, her personal life was a string of tragedies. Her 2007 divorce didn't just steal her love, it shoved her into a pit of despair. When emotions couldn't pour out in tears, she turned to something else: food. Within a year, she went from 145 pounds to 200 pounds. In 2008, Jill Scott sat alone in her empty apartment. On the table, 2 jumbo ice creams, a bag of cookies, a big fried chicken meal, nearly gone in an hour. She looked at her body. No more familiar curves, no more sexy shape she'd been proud of. Just heaviness, sluggishness, and a sadness nothing could soothe. Did it even matter anymore when her life had fallen apart? The marriage she'd thought was forever lasted just 3 short years. A lavish wedding, sweet vows, all now a painful memory. Night after night, she curled up in bed, searching for a reason to go on. Instead of answers, she found food. It started with a snack while watching TV. Then small meals turned into binges: pizza for breakfast, fried chicken at lunch, a whole cake before bed. She ate until she felt nothing. But in the mirror, reality stared back, a stranger, heavy, drained. Friends didn't want her around looking like this. They didn't want the awkwardness of being seen with an oversized Jill Scott, far from her glamorous past. That's when she realized she hadn't just lost her husband. She'd lost close friends, too. In the mirror, it wasn't the radiant Jill Scott of 2007, but a wounded woman stuffing the void with food. 9. Lizzo. 240 pounds of defiance or defeat? Lizzo is a symbol of confidence, a leader in the body positivity movement, a woman who dared defy harsh beauty standards. Hits like Truth Hurts, Juice, and Good as Hell rocketed her to fame, making her one of her generation's most influential artists. But fame came with a brutal cost. Thousands of toxic comments hounded her daily. They didn't talk music. They didn't talk talent. They fixated on her weight. In fighting back, Lizzo unknowingly trapped herself in a downward spiral. In 2021, Lizzo sat in the studio, her phone glowing with thousands of comments. Too fat to be a pop star? Lose weight before preaching self-love. Why celebrate laziness? She tossed the phone aside. Her hands shook, not from anger, but from a rising craving. She felt suffocated. The words weren't new, but they still cut like knives. In desperation, she turned to the one thing that brought instant comfort: food. At first, she thought, they call me fat? I'll show them I don't care. 1 burger, some fries. No big deal. Then 2. 3. Each meal became a rebellion. Ice cream, cookies, pasta. She ate like she was proving something, like she was screaming at the haters that they couldn't break her. But her body turned on her. The weight surged unchecked. At its peak, the scale topped 240 pounds. When she tried rehearsing for a tour, 5 minutes on the treadmill left her heart pounding, breath ragged. Sweat poured, her legs buckled. This wasn't defiance anymore. She was wrecking herself. In the mirror, the bold, vibrant Lizzo was gone. She'd fought the trolls, but in the end, she was the one who got hurt. 8. Tichina Arnold, 50 pounds of betrayal and breakdown. Tichina Arnold was once a Hollywood gem. Graceful, sharp, she brought blazing energy to the screen. Fans adored her spirited roles, colleagues admired her confidence and grit. But behind the glow, her life was a storm. In 2004, Tichina stood before the mirror. The woman staring back was a stranger, 180 pounds, a heavy, weary body, eyes sunken from sleepless nights. She didn't know herself anymore. It started with the biggest shock of her life. The man she loved abandoned her right after their daughter was born. She'd believed their little family would last forever. But as her girl took her first steps, he vanished. No explanation, no text. Just her, alone, reeling, trying to make sense of it all. The pain wouldn't fade. It ate at her day and night. Food became her only solace, but it also drove her to the edge of losing control. It began with a little dessert before bed, a cookie, a milkshake, a small bag of chips. Then each night, the portions grew bigger, heavier. She ate until she felt nothing but exhaustion. She ate to forget, to fill the hole in her heart. But the scale didn't forget. The pounds crept up bit by bit. Everything got harder. Climbing stairs, wearing old clothes, facing the mirror. But the scariest part was the look she got back on set. Colleagues whispered behind her. They gazed at her with pity, even disappointment. Offers dried up. She wasn't the charming, magnetic Tichina Arnold anymore. She was just a woman who'd lost control, abandoned, and slipping away. But when her daughter started talking, her little mama woke Tichina up. How long had she wasted grieving a man who didn't deserve it? Destroying herself over someone who left? For the first time in months, she stepped outside. This time, she'd rise. Not for him, for herself, and for the little girl who still needed her mom. 7. Tiffany Haddish, 45 pounds of fame and falling apart. Tiffany Haddish was once a sensation, a comedian who lit up the stage, magnetic and hilarious. She had entire rooms roaring with laughter. She had charm, charisma, and energy all her own. After her breakout success, she became a hot commodity, the star of every event. But the brighter the spotlight, the darker the shadows behind it. Fame didn't just bring glory, it brought crushing pressure. She had to stay upbeat, always on fire, even when her heart was worn out. The only way to soothe herself was to eat freely, without restraint. The fallout hit in 2021. Tiffany stepped onto the red carpet, confident as ever. But no one looked at her with admiration anymore. Cameras flashed, but instead of praise, whispers followed. No one said it outright, but she saw it in their eyes. The next morning, social media erupted with mockery. She stared at the screen. Comments poured in, hundreds, thousands, tearing her apart, comparing her. They didn't know what she'd been through. No one knew that behind the laughs was a soul running on empty. After hitting it big, Tiffany dove into endless parties. Fame weighed heavy, forcing her to keep up the happy facade. But when the door shut, she was alone with the void. When sadness struck, she turned to food. Not because she was hungry, but because it was the only thing that felt good. At first, she didn't see the change. A late-night pastry, a jumbo cocktail after a shoot, a pizza when stress hit. She told herself, just a little. But a little became routine, and routine became addiction. Her weight climbed to 190 pounds. When she tried on an old dress and the zipper wouldn't budge, she realized she'd lost control long ago. It got worse on set. A simple action scene, just a few steps of running. Less than a minute in, her breathing turned ragged, her heart pounded. The director frowned. Co-stars exchanged glances. No one spoke, but she knew. She wasn't the old Tiffany anymore. Once, she posted a new video online. Same humor, same her. But this time, the comments were flooded with cold jabs at her looks. Tiffany switched off her phone. For the first time in years, she felt truly alone. She'd laughed to hide the pain, eaten to forget the pressure. But in the end, she was only destroying herself. 6. Octavia Spencer, 44 pounds of sacrifice and a steep price. Octavia Spencer is no stranger to the spotlight. An Oscar-winning actress, she won hearts with her raw, emotional performances. But to reach those heights, she'd do anything, even push her body to the brink. For her career-defining role in The Help, she didn't just want to act, she wanted to become the character. She threw herself into a grueling experiment, live like her character, eat like her character, feel her character's life. But she didn't see the cost coming. It started with a seemingly harmless choice. To connect deeper with the role, she ditched her usual diet. No salads, no healthy stuff, no workouts, just cornbread and bacon. At first it was fun. She savored every bite, telling herself she was diving into the part like no one else. But then it spiraled out of control. Every day, she ate triple her norm. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, cornbread and bacon stacked high. She woke up feeling heavy, grease clinging to her skin, her breath slower. But she kept going. It's for the art, she told herself. I have to. 3 months later, she didn't recognize herself. The day she stepped on the scale, her heart sank. 209 pounds. Her breath caught. Over 44 pounds in less than 3 months. She tried on her costumes, none fit. Eyes on set shifted, no longer awe, just concern. Then the director pulled her aside. His words hit like a slap. Octavia, you can't keep doing this. She looked in the mirror. Tired eyes, a rounder face than ever, a body so heavy each step dragged. She'd thought she was sacrificing for art, but she was sinking into a pit. This wasn't a role anymore. It was reality, a bitter reality she'd pushed herself into. Luckily, she turned it around before it was too late. 5. Whoopi Goldberg, 60 pounds of forgotten days and letting go. Whoopi Goldberg was once an icon, a gifted actress, a sharp host, a name Hollywood revered. She'd won an Oscar, ruled the screen with unforgettable roles. But that golden era didn't last. Showbiz moved on, Hollywood forgot her. And the worst part? She stopped caring too. Age crept in, her body slowed, but she didn't fight it. No more healthy eating, no workouts, no keeping in shape. And so the pounds piled on, unchecked. It started with late-night snacks after long tapings. A piece of candy, a chicken patty, a soda. It became habit. Day by day, uncontrolled meals stacked up. Dresses got tight. Old shoes didn't fit. One day, she stepped on the scale, hit 220 pounds. She stared at the glaring red number. She laughed, a bitter, self-mocking chuckle. But no one else found it funny. Social media blew up. Old photos of her surfaced for comparison. Nasty comments crashed in like a tidal wave. She read them all, every word. But she didn't react, didn't explain, didn't try to change. She kept living like that. Until one day, trying to tie her shoes, she couldn't even do that simple task. Her bulk blocked her view, her breath came fast. A sharp pain shot through her chest. Sweat broke out. She collapsed into a chair, gasping for air. A basic move, now too much. In the mirror, she wasn't the fierce, commanding Whoopi the world knew. Just a stranger, tired, worn, unraveling from years of letting go. For the first time in ages, she was scared. She knew she had to change, and she did. 4. Yvette Nicole Brown, 50 pounds of pressure and loneliness. Yvette Nicole Brown was the heart of Community, a charming, clever actress who brought big laughs. But off-screen, she stopped smiling. When the lights dimmed, she faced a different life. Work stress, family duties, and a quiet loneliness weighing her down. It started in 2013. Community hit a rough patch. Filming stretched her thin. She bounced from set to home, where more responsibilities waited. No time to cook, no chance to rest. She ate whatever kept her going: pastries, fries, snacks. At first, just quick meals. Then sleepless nights drove her to eat more. She stopped caring. The scale crept up, but she didn't notice. Until one day, she hit 198 pounds. A stunned moment. The number was a punch to the face, but the real shock was still coming. The next day, she got to set. She tried her usual costume. The zipper wouldn't budge. All eyes turned to her. Past praise vanished. Just awkward stares, hushed murmurs. Co-stars who once joked with her drifted away. Invites stopped, chats faded. That night, she sat before the mirror. A round face, a heavy body. Tired eyes stared back. She didn't know herself anymore. Work had swallowed her life. Duty had drained her. And she'd let herself drift with reckless eating, lost in pressure and solitude. 3. Maya. Amber Davis, 250 pounds of a wild experiment gone wrong. Mia Amber Davis was a plus-size beauty icon. A stunning model with a strong, confident frame, she graced magazines, hit the screen, and inspired curvy women worldwide. But in 2009, a bold move changed everything. That year, Mia signed up for a bizarre project, a psychological study on self-perception and society's treatment of obesity. A crazy idea. Back then, she was a standout plus-size model at 175 pounds. Gorgeous, self-assured, unapologetic. But this study demanded more. Researchers threw out an insane condition, gained 75 pounds in 2 months. Mia didn't overthink it. She was curious. She wanted the challenge. She said yes. The shift started with her diet. Not normal meals, 5 daily buffets. Mornings, she downed 3 butter-soaked waffles, crispy bacon, greasy fried eggs. Lunch was a double jumbo burger, giant fries, a sugary soda. Afternoons, a whole pizza, chocolate ice cream for dessert. Dinner, a 500-gram steak, cheesy mashed potatoes. Before bed, pastries, salty snacks, a creamy milkshake, over 10,000 calories a day. At first, it felt easy. Eating freely, no weight worries. Mia enjoyed it, but her body fought back. She felt sluggish, moved slower, breathed harder. One morning, she woke up and flinched at the mirror. A puffy face, swollen eyes. She dreaded the scale, but couldn't dodge it. When it passed 220 pounds, panic set in. And it didn't stop. Her weight kept climbing unchecked. Each day, she grew a little bigger. By week 8, she hit 250 pounds. Her body wasn't hers anymore. Everything slowed, weighed down. When the study ended, she thought she'd drop the weight fast. She was wrong. She couldn't snap back to her old life. Brands called, wanting her as a plus-size poster child. They didn't care why. They just saw a fat woman ready to be a symbol. Mia stared into the mirror, touching a stranger's face. 75 pounds for science. But no one understood. 2. Brat. 187 pounds of being forgotten and cruel change. Brat was the coolest rapper of the 90s. She owned the stage with bold, sharp swagger, a female hip-hop icon of her time. But that shine didn't last. Her rap career faded, gigs thinned out, fans moved on. In 2023, Brat stood before the mirror. She touched her belly, soft, unfamiliar, not the body she once knew. She still recalled her peak when Brat meant power and edge. Now, music deals were gone. Stages had no room for her. She was fading away. And with an empty mind, hunger became the only thing to fill the gap. It started with late-night meals, some pasta to ease the disappointment, a bit of fried chicken to drown the loneliness. Then endless feasts, pizza, fries, massive steaks. Day by day, her weight soared. Then came a life-altering twist: pregnancy. That joy brought a harsh truth. Her body changed beyond control. From a lean, fierce Brat at 132 pounds, she hit 187 pounds. The real shock wasn't the weight, it was the brutal reaction from those who once adored her. She posted a photo online, sharing her special moment. But the response wasn't what she'd hoped. A storm of hate comments rolled in. Words sharp as knives sliced into her soul's deepest corners. Fans who'd cheered her turned away without a second thought. She shut off her phone, but the pain lingered. She rested a hand on her belly, feeling a body so different now. 187 pounds of change, of hurts no one grasped. She'd been an unbeatable Brat. Now she was trapped in herself. 1. Precious Lee, 209 pounds in a painful paradox. Precious Lee was a standout in plus-size fashion. At 154 pounds, she rocked sultry curves and fierce confidence, owning every runway. She was an icon, an inspiration. But the industry never stopped shifting. Standards twist, and one day she realized she wasn't big enough for the new demands. In 2022, Precious walked into a major casting. She strutted with assurance, but got only a cold stare from the creative director. "We need someone bigger." She didn't book it, not because she wasn't stunning or skilled, but because she wasn't fat enough. A cruel paradox. She stood there, floored, realizing she no longer fit the mold. The industry had shoved her out. Unwilling to be left behind, she made a daring call: gain weight to survive. If they wanted bigger, she'd deliver. Meals became a battle with her own body. Creamy pasta for breakfast, frosted cakes as appetizers, soda, fried chicken, jumbo pizzas swallowed her days. Each week, the scale ticked up. At 209 pounds, doors swung open again. Contracts returned, gigs flooded in. She'd reclaimed her spot. But was this really a win? To stay in modeling, she'd entered a ruthless game, a weight race with a finish line of pain and sacrifice. Her mom watched, eyes full of worry. Friends drifted off. Warm hugs turned to uneasy glances. No one got the turmoil inside her. Each mirror glance showed a stranger. This wasn't her, just 209 pounds of pressure, loneliness, and shifting standards she couldn't tame. But she had no choice. Her career demanded a plus-size frame. These stars' transformations leave you stunned. Some accept it, some fight to reclaim their shape, but they all reveal a harsh truth: Hollywood never forgives. What do you think of these actresses' changes? Drop a comment below and share your take. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss the next stories from the world of fame. There's still so much behind-the-scenes drama you haven't heard.